My name is Jeremiah. For as long as I can remember, I've had an almost morbid fascination with anything and everything paranormal, especially those things that venture into the darkest recesses of our primal fears and spark the thoughts that for most would be the stuff of nightmares. In 2007, this fascination, along with some unexplainable experiences, led me to start a paranormal research team known today as Everyday Legacy Paranormal. Then in 2011, a road trip led myself and a close friend into the darkest places we had ever been. That was the beginning of Road Trip Paranormal. Now, while still active with them, I no longer lead either of those teams, but the people that make them up are the best friends a guy like me could ask for. Myself, along with Jason, Leo, Roth, Max, and Michelle are reaching out to share our passions for everything odd, fringe, and paranormal with the world. We are Cryptic Heartland. Hello there, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good week. I think we have a good show tonight. This is Cryptic Heartland, by the way. I'm just going to hand it over to you guys. I'm busy over here.
Okay. Well, like Jeremiah attempted to say, this is a Cryptic Heartland podcast. This is episode number 32, which is hard to believe we've done that many so far, but we're moving it still. And this one's going to be fun, man. We're going to have a good one. It's one of our own. We're going to talk about the Forum Theater here in a little while. But I think for starters, we're going to try something brand new. You want to go ahead and kind of talk about what we're going to do, or?
No.
Okay,
No.
good.
No, I'll do it. We're going to start off every podcast with talking about what's new and streaming online with the world of weird, basically. Any videos that are coming out, we're going to just kind of show a couple of them and go over it and maybe catch a couple of laughs with what people are claiming to be real phenomenon, or, this is real footage of Bigfoot. Watch that, how it's always captured. But no, it's fun because there's every day there's something new on online that people are capturing. So we just want to start off with that. What else you want to talk about?
Nothing.
Nothing? All right.
How about them Chiefs? Yeah.
All right.
Next year.
Same as last year.
Yeah.
Next year, right? Every
Yeah,
year.
same story.
No?
All right.
We just got back from break.
Yeah.
We had a couple weeks off because of Christmas and New Year's. And we're going to try to jump back in this thing head first, I guess. So
Yeah, because we got a busy week ahead of us
yes,
too.
we do.
So
Yep.
Yeah, it's already started.
whether you guys like it or not, here we go.
Yep. 2018 is on us.
I mean, we're not even
Oh yeah.
halfway through January, and I had to tell a lady in Topeka, unfortunately we couldn't get to her, and
Yeah.
that's amazing already, so.
Well, what's good though is the fact that we have connections or contacts in another
Right.
part of the
Yep.
state that we're able to pass off some stuff. So
Yep.
we got in touch with Kathy, and she
Yeah.
was going to call the lady and see what's going on, see if there's anything she can do right there and then, and if we have time in the near future.
We'll try to make it out there. And
Right.
Kathy, if you're listening, thank you so much for calling her as quickly as you did. We appreciate that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I keep you guys busy all the time getting stuff scheduled.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've already reached out to a lot of our other locations too. So
Yeah. We're
So-
busy. You're already planned ahead.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. So, yeah.
I've only booked January so far. So it's like,
Well, we talked to probably who knows how far out, right? I mean, we got different locations
Yeah.
already, and
yeah, who want probably more than just one visit.
right.
So, which I don't blame them.
Yep.
And I, you know what, I love it, so I don't care.
Yeah, but it's good, but
If we could have somebody drive us, or fly us to there, I'd love
That'd be great.
But
Yeah, in due time.
yeah.
So,
Maybe we need to start renegotiating how we do this.
Send us a limo.
I'd be fine with an RV or a bus.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of stuff online that has been capturing everyone's attention, from loud noises in the sky to hauntings in schoolhouses to Roth's favorite Bigfoot sightings. But we've got, three videos we want to share with you tonight and see what you think. You can start with whichever one you want.
Okay.
We'll go with, we'll just go with whichever one you want.
And actually, I told you wrong a while ago. I've actually got 4 videos
Okay.
because I threw one in myself. It's related to one of the ones that you sent me.
Okay.
So, but we'll get to those in a little bit. First off, let's see here. Which one was it?
He's throwing a curve in.
Here we go.
Which one of you?
You want to go with the best one first?
Which one?
I understand. It's the one with the dog that's has the
what?
video camera.
Okay, so you're the one that sent that one.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll go with Jason's then.
Yep, that works.
Nothing but love here.
So, really, we just kind of want to throw these out there, and let me shut that off first. We just kind of want to throw these out there and see what you guys all think about them, and then we're probably going to pick them apart a little bit or give our input too, because
Please do.
I've actually been looking forward to this.
Before we begin, I just want to tell people at home, some of these stuff tonight you might want to grab headphones or turn your volume
Yeah.
loud, because some of the audio's not as clear as we hoped it to be, or it's
Right.
it's real live recording. So you'll see us grab our headphones from time to time and put them on. So
That'll be your cue to put yours on.
that's probably good. This first one probably since the video.
All right.
Can you hear that?
No,
So-
I'm messing with everybody. Oh, this is some stereo, buddy.
I'm also going to say I apologize if an ad comes across like this, because there's not really any other way I can do that to prevent the ads.
A lot longer
So,
than you thought you
you
were
can
going
click
to be.
on that
And the
one.
dog has
It won't, the way this is set up, it won't let me
Well,
do
here's
that.
something that might
So,
help you and your dog.
I can
a little
mute it.
happier.
And we can,
Here's something that might sound
Hey, at least
familiar.
it has animals.
I'm rushing
Right.
home from work to let the dog
Oh,
out.
look at him go.
Well, Cheryl Perez was sick of having her schedule dictated by her canine's needs.
Hi, Gus. Come on, you ready to go outside?
Not really paranormal.
The Power Pet
maybe
door
I
came to the
can't mute
rescue.
it.
This high-tech automated access is
else? Wow, that's a long advertisement. Of course.
Is that an advertisement or?
No, that's the advertisement.
Well, we do what we can to help advertise. Right?
Yeah, Oh, for crying out loud.
Did you click on the right video?
Yeah. Yep, I promise I did.
I'll try to find one that doesn't have a.
It's
intro video that's
it's
so long.
YouTube. YouTube puts the ads in.
Yeah, I noticed now they're even
Randomly.
going halfway, and you watch the video halfway now, and then they start up another one. It's getting ridiculous.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, see,
Maybe you
it
can
won't
skip
let
this
me. It won't let me skip the
But this
ads.
one's worth This one here, I think, is worth watching because
This commercial?
I thought it was really interesting, the footage here, until reality hit.
Right.
And I picked it apart. So.
Yeah.
I think the conspiracy of this one is the fact I don't think the animal's actually going to be able to open that door by itself.
Right.
Oh, he's gonna off himself and jump in the pool.
Well, that dog could barely jump up on the
What did
the
you
ledge
send?
there.
What did you send?
I don't know, because when I was at work, I could click off the.
Okay,
the
here we
app.
go.
So here we go.
I don't want to watch it now. I'm just kidding.
Bigfoot caught on tape by dog. With what? GoPro. You know, and we've actually talked about this, right? Let's slow it down a little bit.
Sorry.
Oh. We're going to slow it down again.
I know, me. I was thinking the same thing.
Okay, so when I found this video, I thought it was what got me on it was that it wasn't a human, okay,
What was it?
that didn't have a camera on him and couldn't catch the video in the first place. So what a great concept! Hook it up to a dog and they go everywhere, okay. But what got me too was a little over 706,000 views. I think it had on this one. So it brought it to my attention.
Well, just like that. It grabs your attention.
It grabs your attention.
Yeah.
But what got me on this one is, okay, first off, when I saw it, I thought, wow, okay, this could be one because the dog's just hanging out, okay? But then what got me was it looks like he's on a path already, okay? When you start looking down, it looks like there's a path.
Well, it's definitely the dog's on a,
Right.
The dog looks like he's being walked.
Right. Well,
And
but he's not. If you go read into it, the dog's not being walked. There's actually nobody with him.
So they say.
So they say. But you've got, I mean,
But he's just following that path straight line. It almost looks like he is on a leash.
Let's say he's got 7 acres of land out there and he runs all over, okay? Let's hook a GoPro. What a great concept, okay? If we catch something, we catch something. But what got me in this was my thoughts always take us back to Tahlequah, okay, and the dogs out there. What do dogs usually do when they see something that's out of the
Every
ordinary?
report I've ever read about has the dog freaking out, growling,
Right.
barking,
they bark.
do something.
This dog does nothing,
Right.
and as he slows it down, I started noticing a couple times, as soon as I saw him, I quit watching the dog and never saw what the dog was doing, because you're
dog
looking.
kind of just turned
The
its
dog
head.
was actually.
It turned its head
Yeah.
at one point and just kind of looked off like.
Didn't even look in that direction, and you can't tell me it didn't see that thing
Right,
standing 50
right.
feet in front of it there.
Well, when its owner is in a ghillie suit in front of it.
Right, it's not got to really react all that much.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ghillie suit.
Yeah. But to me, it's just most likely just the owner pulling it.
But here's the thing: nobody will ever know. Nobody will ever know. But I'm gonna have to say it debunked on this one because I think a dog would have started barking. A dog would have stopped.
I mean,
And
every account I've ever read, and
Right.
just being in Oklahoma, we know that the dogs
And
go
not just that, but any experience I've had. When I lived in Colorado, I took my dogs backpacking with me all the time, and they went ape shit
Right.
when there was anything around. For whether it was a bobcat or a deer or a,
Right.
mountain goat or whatever.
Would your puppy do anything with that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd be barking her head off.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it may not even be like a dash after it kind of a thing. It might be like freedom
Mhm.
track, like kind of hunch up kind of a thing. That dog.
Yeah. Just
Terrible.
a surprise.
is it possible that the dog didn't see it? Because if you go back and watch the
Should've been
video,
able to
it
smell
goes
it,
by
though.
pretty quick.
Their nose should have picked up the scent immediately.
And
The
here.
creature had to walk through, and normally that's through the woods, so you're making noise already.
Yeah.
Punching
The
through,
dog
yeah.
would have pinpointed that right away.
Yeah. Dog would have heard it. Dog would have smelled it.
And
Dog would have
If
reacted.
it was a real Sasquatch, I wouldn't imagine that he's actually wanting to cross the path of a dog that's loose coming around.
Right.
Or maybe
Exactly.
the Sasquatch didn't even see the dog. I mean, You know.
No. Dog.
If
running
they were
around.
bad,
I don't know which is less
Why?
believable. I mean, 'cause these things, they live their life in the wild. I mean, you
Right.
go watch any documentary or talk to anyone that knows anything about the great apes in Africa,
Yeah.
and I mean, you get within a mile of their territory, and they know you're there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Dogs are
That's,
the
I
same.
mean, they know you're there.
My dog, just taking her for a walk, she'll catch on something that I don't even see or pay attention to, and she's already looking and sniffing and wanting to pull that direction.
So, do we say debunk?
Yeah, I think that one's bullshit.
Yeah.
Call bullshit? I call bullshit. Mom? Bullshit?
Yep.
Jason?
BS.
BS?
She almost said it.
Yes.
All right, on to the next one. This is the one that Jason sent me.
Please don't have advertisements.
It probably will.
Dang it.
Hopefully not that long. Seriously?
Come let me know I can get rid of those.
What's that?
Come let me know I can get rid of those. Just set the video up to where it's just a video only.
I apologize, folks.
Send them to you first.
Yeah. Be easier. All the videos I've brought in the past, they've always been from YouTube. And
You just splice them.
Yeah, I can just get rid of all that stuff.
I tried to do a screen record on them, but the video was, it always turned out not good quality.
Yeah.
So,
Well, at least mine had a cute dog to look at,
yeah.
right?
Well, and YouTube's also probably pissed at me because I always skip the ads, and so they try to stick me with long ads.
Ah.
These are exceptionally long.
Yeah, this is. I mean, this is both of them have been a minute and a half.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Most of them are like 32 seconds. or
Yeah.
something. They're not very
Well,
long.
15 to 30 seconds even.
Well, at least we're
Okay, here we go.
Different we get paid for them.
they're
No, I saw this one.
This is not our commentary, by the way.
No.
It is funny, though.
looks like he was trotting.
It's actually getting closer.
Maybe he's just starting out.
Oh, shit. There we go.
But anyway, I thought that was funny. This guy on there, he's always picking apart different videos too, so it's kind of fun. But I thought that one was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's just case in point of how people dress up in outfits, perfectly have a Bigfoot like this one, you know, walking up its driveway, and then decides to cut off and go that way.
Right.
Come on. He gets all shaky, blurry, but why was he filming in the first place?
Right.
And this is why it gets so bad, and why it just ticks me off when people go, well, every video is faked. Well, that's because people are faking most stuff.
Mhm.
Because usually when you do see Bigfoot, you don't have a camera with you. That's why there will never be any evidence.
Right.
Yeah, most of the most legitimate sightings are the ones that are just being told to you, not from somebody who's got a video camera.
And why all of a sudden was he just videotaping the driveway?
Right.
Exactly.
But what we don't know is maybe there was something prior to that. Maybe he was doing something different. Who knows?
And
I'm gonna backtrack to that last video. I mean, there's in this one there's the idea of maybe something was going on beforehand. He yelled at someone to get to the house. Maybe he was filming them kids or something. Who knows? I doubt it, because you don't hear anyone running or saying anything or anything like that. Just like the commentator in that video said. But also in the last video, it stopped a little short, probably by design by the people that were faking it.
Right.
But there's no indication of what the dog did after that footage was caught. You know, maybe the dog did take off chasing after this thing. I doubt it. You know, if anything else, it was to run up and lick his owner in the face or whatever. But, you know, that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Well, out of all the videos I've seen over the last, 10 years, I've never seen one going,
Right, yeah, that was a little exaggerated, wasn't it?
You know, that's all he was trying to do, you know?
that was awesome.
Perfectly formed.
Right.
We don't know how they run. It's kind of like...
It's a pretty safe bet they don't run like a high school track star.
Well, and I was watching Finding Bigfoot, and the chick on there, Renee, is her name?
I've never watched the show, actually.
Eyewitness was telling a story of how she was driving along and she saw big hairy creature running on two legs, actually jogging in the embankment of the road down the ditch. You know, and was given the demonstration of what she was seeing, and and Renee was just simply like, Bigfoots wouldn't be running. I'm sorry. And just totally just trying to deteriorate everything that this lady was trying to say.
But how do they know?
We don't know. So, like, again, you don't know how their form is running up an embankment.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Don't know.
But that looked totally fake.
Probably because a lot of those people that are on the shows, well, like Renee, they're kind of like Brendan, where they're involved with the wildlife aspect of it. They don't know any animal that runs like humans do. Closest would be probably some kind of monkey form, or so that's probably why she's making these assumptions. But like you said, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But anyway, sorry about the commercials on that one. But
yeah.
So are we debunking that one too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one was possibly worse than the first one.
You're welcome for that.
Do we have another one?
Yes, we do. We have two more, and they're related.
With ads. I'm just
Hopefully not like that. Let's see what we get into here, though. So everyone has probably seen the video of the haunted school in Ireland, and that's what we're going after now.
Have you seen it?
No.
I've got 2. So let me turn this audio on. And here we go.
Very haunted. I'm just kidding.
And this one's really interesting too.
Yeah, this one's
Hey, no ad.
It's every time.
I know people at home can't see, but rope I jumped.
Is it still going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. It's just.
There it goes. Ooh, look at the chair.
Excuse me. Back upstairs. You got the TV. Next to it.
I think that's about it, isn't it? Yeah.
That one,
That was hard.
I want to believe it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be on CCTV, you know, on a school's, you know, security system. It appears to be after hours kind of a thing, and somebody discovered later on. But if you read back into the backstory a little bit behind that, that seems to happen a lot, though. There's another video from that same school, a different location. You had that too?
I think he's going to play that here. Just
Where
yeah.
more activities has occurred. So.
Right.
More
I mean, is it possible to create
Yeah.
that? Of course it is. You know, we've seen that in just the movie Paranormal Activity. You know, things.
You can do it with fish wire, you can do it with
Yeah.
Photoshop, I mean, you name it. Anything's fakeable.
But anything is awesome to see him jump.
Yes, that made it worth all the ads we had to watch.
So let's watch that and see if he does the same thing.
I don't act like this in a house or building.
At Bluehost,
Oh,
we think it
ad.
should be easy to share your passion.
That one's only 30 seconds, so.
Since you worked hard to build your business, you shouldn't have to build your website. And if you ever need help, we're here for you 24/7. We know people depend on you, so you can depend on us. And of course, we believe that whether you're big or
maybe,
small,
I don't know.
global or local,
It's got quite
our
a few
website
views.
should grow with you.
I mean, it was a
Go
viral
where your
post.
passion leads. Bluehost. We'll power your website, you power the world.
Oh yeah, this is it.
No one's watching the screen. Everyone's watching the road.
Man, I guess.
So, what do you guys think?
Yeah, honestly, like Leo said, I want to believe it. But at the same time, it's almost like a pre-arranged fun house. Especially when that locker could start moving, like that. It's like it was already pre-programmed to move, possibly. I don't know.
That would take a lot of work to pre-program it to do that. But one thing is, most of those, you would think most of those lockers would be bolted to the, because you know how, I mean, school preventable,
Well, this is overseas. We don't know what
they don't attach stuff to walls overseas.
No, I'm just saying we don't know what the regulations are. That coming from the man who jumped at the video.
But it just seems to me like you wouldn't have lockers where kids could get mad and just dump them.
Well,
Maybe.
okay, so I have 4 words for you. High school filming project. That's what it stinks of to me.
And there's nothing in there that couldn't have been done as with wires or.
All of the motions and the stuff, the movements and stuff is too linear. It's not a natural movement like.
Picked up and thrown.
Right. The one chair in the first video that gets picked up back in the hallway, gets picked up and then just dropped right back down. And the one chair, if you drew or put a ruler up there, the second chair that moved in a perfectly straight line. The book bag that got thrown, actually, in that, if you go back and look at that video closely, where the book bag got thrown off the top of the lockers, you can see someone's head behind that glass up down when the book bag moves.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I read through some of the comments, but I didn't notice it until I saw the comments and went back and read them. But I mean, it's very well done and it's fun to watch, but it reeks of a high school filming project to me. It's the perfect setting for it.
It's so sad that it's just like Bigfoot and everything. They fake so much that it makes the ones that are truly real, you question those.
Video gets a lot of views and a lot of hits or whatever. People get excited with that. So, I mean.
I know, but it's disappointing to me that you have to.
It is, because I mean, it makes everything that we do
Yeah.
harder to prove or say that we did something right, when you got people who are filming this kind of stuff and passing it along.
Sorry. I was just making sure our Facebook feed was actually going live.
Well, I don't know. I can't say any of it was real tonight. Definitely the first 2 were fake.
Yeah.
Those 2.
Yeah.
It can go either way. I have to lean towards fake, but that's just my opinion. Because I mean, it's just.
Yeah, you said the background of the place. It's got a huge history of haunting to it.
That's what they say. I mean, but I could type up something on the internet just
That's
as easy
true.
and fake it also too.
Wikipedia.
Well, I'm not saying it is or isn't.
I mean, there are high schools that teach social marketing.
Yeah.
And that's the prime example of it. Take a video like that and make it go viral and stick a few ads in it, and that's,
It
big money.
It works for the movies. It works for everything else. Why not?
But would they pay stuff like that if it's fake? If everybody pretty much knows it's fake?
Google and YouTube don't give a rat's hairy ass if it's faked or not, as long as it gets ad clicks.
Interesting. Maybe
And I mean that with all due respect, Google. Don't ban us.
That makes sense though, because I mean, think about it. If you wanted to go out and do a video like that and you don't care, but it's gonna put.
Yeah, I mean it makes things more difficult for the rest of us, but that's not their problem. That's. I mean, let's just be honest about it. That's the age that's the age we live in. It's not their problem. So.
Oh well. Well, in that fashion, then how about we get to something that we know is real?
We can do that.
Israel. No, Israel. Either way you say it, it's not like that. You want to introduce the...
No, not really.
No?
I'm kidding. Okay.
You're being real quiet.
So tonight, what was
Actually.
No, this is what we're going to talk about here in just a few seconds. Is the Forum Theater that we've all been able to investigate in at some point. Oops, sorry about that. So we met some of you guys.
It's basically where we all began. Truly, I mean, together. It's a location in Wichita that I met Jeremiah for the first time there. It's one of our first cases together.
Right.
Where you guys came in,
there,
you know,
Larry and Cheryl.
same time basically,
Yep.
same night.
Yeah.
This was the first case that Brendan and I worked together on.
Right.
Back when ELP was still down in Anthony,
Yep.
or based out of Anthony.
Yep. What's that?
Oh, I just hear music.
Oh, okay. So we're talking about the Forum Theater. It's been called many different names throughout history. You can see it on the screen there. It's in Wichita here, and back in the day it was the Hillside Avenue Church of Christians or something like that. And
There's
then
been a few.
that right here, it's the Hillside Avenue Church of Christ. I'm sorry. And then it's been called the Hillside Baptist Church, the Hillside Christian Church, and then it eventually became the Forum Theater. And now it's a different church. Another church has been actually bought it more recently. But just some of the history behind it, it started construction back in 1922. They had the land set up for this church to be built. It finished completion on actual construction in 1926, and then they actually did the building dedication on November 28th of 1926. One of the earliest pastors that they invited was from Illinois. His name was Ernest H. Reed, who we can talk about here in just a little bit, but we still think is one of the people there that haunts the actual building. We came in contact with him in many different ways, and we'll share some of that here with you in just a little bit. What else do you want to say about it?
You're doing fine. You're doing good. You got it all.
Well, just some of the later stuff in the history of it. There was a fire in there in 1950.
In the sanctuary.
Yep.
And they ended up having to do all the services for a year over at the Crown Uptown in Wichita, which is just actually across the street, which is a well-known. Well, for a long time, from the 70s on, 75 on up to what I think 2009, 2010, it was a dinner theater, and one of the best around. And it was built around, and the building itself was built around the same time in 1926. So they both have like that same era being built together. But so yeah, the church has spent for a year all their services over there in the theater. So.
One thing that's always kind of struck odd to me all these years, other than the fact that we were able to experience some of the hauntings, it was the last known, religious denomination that was actually in the building was reported to start there in 1980, and then out of the blue, out of nowhere, in 2006, they just up and left for whatever reason. So that when the new owners eventually went in there was just hymnals everywhere. Like they just vanished, basically. People vanished. There was dishes in the sink in the kitchen area unwashed. There was just a little weird, I don't know what to explain them, occurrences, I guess, or I don't know, things that you could see that life was once there, and for whatever reason, and nobody knows why, they just up and left. And I know at one point there were some squatters living in there too, as they destroyed some of the building, took some of the grass out, and
all the doorknobs on the building. They took everything. So a lot of the doors to the offices, to the pastor's study, which is important to that store too. All the doorknobs were missing. So you close the door, you have to try and pry your way out, basically. To it.
But a lot of the original woodwork is still there to this day. A lot of the pews, the fixtures, light fixtures, all that stuff is still there. Well, last we knew anyways when we were in.
Right.
But,
Up to when we left.
Yeah.
It was, even the windows, I mean, everything was pretty much still the same when we got in there.
Yeah, all the stained glass windows are still there.
You do our tour stops there, right?
On the outside, yeah.
What I've noticed sometimes when I've driven by, I've seen wood in the windows.
They locked up some windows, I don't know why.
They're changing it inside for whatever reason. They're doing different things.
Yeah.
They contacted us at one point, the new owners, but they kind of wanted to know if we had any kind of footage, anything we could give them. And most of our stuff is in night vision, so it didn't do any benefit to them. But I did pose a question if they had any kind of experiences there or anything going on. And like, oh no, everything's good. I'm like,
Right.
Sure it is. But nonetheless,
It's
we
just
know.
odd that when I drive by, it doesn't look like
It's
it's being
changed.
well kept. Like I've seen boards on the windows. Why would you do that
I
if
don't
it's
know.
going to be a church? And
Well, I mean, the owners that we knew when they had it, they were putting a lot of money into it and doing everything they can to change it from. So when I first went in there, it was 2009. That's about the time that it was first investigated by our buddy Brendan on our team. So it was 2009 when he did that. And later that year, I was in there with Kathy Ramirez, Ghost Tours of Kansas. They had a little overnight evening there. I took my brother. It was a fascinating night. The place was totally wrecked, like Leo said. There's stuff everywhere. Hymnal books. There's the whole. You guys have seen the front lobby, the front. Yeah, that place had junk everywhere. There was a Santa sleigh that was in there right in front. You walk in, there it was. Stuff piled everywhere.
I remember the first time I went in. I think you were there that night with my wife and I when we first went. I think. Are you talking about the area when you walk in, go to your right, and it's all wood?
No, it's go right
There's
up
a
through the
bunch
front
of-
steps. You know, the steps that lead
It's
up.
where the ticket booth would be, and the elevators onto one side,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then the stairs that shoot up around to
Okay.
go upstairs.
But there was junk everywhere. I mean, whoever left it just ended up using it for storage and got the hell out, basically. The church before them. So when we got there, it was just a mess. And then it was about, I think it was later in 2009, Jeremiah, when I met you.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And you guys went in there, and that's when I took my wife Nicole to go in there, and it was a fascinating night that night too. It was a lot of activity that was happening, and gotta say, of all the cases that we've ever been in, it seemed like no matter what time of year, day, time, it didn't matter. There's something that was happening. The activity inside that building is phenomenal when it comes to the paranormal, and I mean, from voices to things moving to things being thrown, doors opening, closing, the giggling, laughing, and stuff like that I know you've heard. You know, you've been with me on the tours and stuff, and you've heard. You know, we'd have guests that were, complaining that they were having things happen to them while we were taking a group of 30 in there, and they were having, like the sensation of being grabbed or stuff like that. But for the tours, we were only in there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about as long as you guys would allow me to talk, and you guys always had to drag me out of there because
You gotta get back.
I gotta get back on schedule.
So in
But
the beginning of the tours, you guys actually got to go in.
oh yeah, I still have a key to the place, but it's owned by somebody else, so I can't do it. But yeah, we used to be able to take people in there, and and that's what was so great was we got to investigate anytime we wanted to, and it was phenomenal. We could go there at any time of the day, night, didn't matter. We had permission by the owners. They said if you got a key, you're in. So
That's awesome.
it was a lot of fun, but
And we were always very respectful.
Yeah.
Didn't tear it up. Very respectful.
But it was the history and the mystery behind it is fascinating.
Right.
Which, you know, you can start with wherever you want to start with.
Well, I mean, we talked about the new ownership. I don't say their name necessarily, but I mean, I think it's kind of out there, public knowledge. But a doctor and his wife bought it. They were trying to turn into a music theater with dinner. You know, was it dinner also? Yeah,
they were turning it into everything.
Play. Kind of what got them started on the whole phenomenon was the fact that they hired a bunch of workers there to, you know, start doing the demolishing of it, you know, or whatever, you know, the restoration of the inside, and then little weird occurrences would start happening. Things would, you know, be moved out of place as far as like tools. I mean, that kind of thing. The usual, well, I guess we call it poltergeist, I guess. You know, things were getting moved around. The thing that really got the workers spooked was the fact that there's dust everywhere because it's an old place that, you know, had been in, you know, squalor or whatever for a while, and they would see fresh handprints of small little kids' handprints in there, and there's no children that were in there in the building at all during their time that the workers were there, and a lot of them quit, wouldn't come back. But I think the thing that really started it all off was when the doctor went into the pastor's room, and the door shut on him basically, and he couldn't get it out. You know, couldn't get out of the actual room. So they finally just busted it open and took it off the hinges, set it to the side. That'll fix my problem, you know, getting stuck in here in this pastor's office. Well, then the door proceeds to up and, you know, fly across the room, almost hit him. So he just took the damn door out of there completely and moved it in the next hall, next room basically. And that's when they kind of started to think, hey, something's going on here for sure. And that's when Brendan, I think's group got involved and was able to go in there and start.
Yep, they investigated that night with him. It was Brendan, the owner, and I think one other person from his group, and that was it. So it was a very tiny group that night to go in there.
Right.
And this place is huge. It has 2 or 3 different staircases that lead up to the upstairs. There's a organ room up above the stage. There's a choir loft. There's basement. There's the fallout shelter. Yeah, fallout shelter. This place just went on forever. It seemed like.
We're counting the staircase. I think there's 8 staircases.
Yeah, 8 staircases.
There's 2 in the front when you first come in. There's the one in the main one. There's one inside the building. I forgot those 2. So at least 8 to 10 staircases I think you can get to upstairs and downstairs from. And
it was a lot of work.
I just remember the first time I went in there, I thought, man, I'm going to get lost in this damn place because it's a maze. If I take one wrong staircase, I don't know where the hell I'm going to end up.
It's in the tens of thousands of square feet.
Yeah, it's
huge.
Mean,
it's huge.
The outside looks small in comparison to when you get inside, and then
hardly anybody realizes how big that is. Even when I talk about it on the Wichita tour, it's people don't seem to realize how big that is.
There's like 4 stories basically. I mean, possible areas you can go into. Plus, the school off to the side that's attached to it. I mean, you got all those classrooms and just amazing. The place is just dumbfounded every time I went in there as far as the activity that we got. And I mean, I was still new to the team, so I was a little on edge to begin with. And when things start growling at you, and there was a time when Jeremiah and I were setting up a camera into an area that wasn't really the most haunted of the building, and we were up on it's the opposite side of the pastor's office, on the other side of the building, right next to the classroom, and all of a sudden we hear this loud audible growl. And I remember looking at you, and I'm like, did you hear that? And he's looked at me, he's like, yeah, I heard that. And I know you have one ear that's, you know, not the best of, you know, hearing, and I'm like, if Jeremiah's hearing this crap, then this shit's real. Right. So it scared the living crap out of me. And then later on, Claire's like, hey, Leah, can you go back upstairs and do this? And I'm like, oh, shit. I have to go up there by myself.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And I was on edge the whole night. But it never let us down, that's for sure.
It was definitely one of the places I hated going in, you know, by myself. Right. And I remember one night, and on the tours before you started, helping me.
Nicole.
I would send Nicole. My wife, she'd take the key, and as I'm still on the bus talking to everybody, she'd be running inside to unlock and then go into to where the sanctuary was to turn on the lights and everything. And every time I watch her go in, I'm thinking, man, she's just going in without any problem here.
Yeah, she's a lot further than me, that's
I'm
for
like,
sure.
I really don't want to go in by myself for some reason, by myself. But
Yeah.
she did.
She's a trooper.
And she had her first ever encounter there.
Right.
And
I remember that.
it freaked her out.
Yeah.
It had the same thing happen to you, the whisper in the ear. But from that day forward, she was just like gung-ho and ready to go. She was just like, bring it on. And, she had her moment, and that was it. But that place scared the crap out of so many people.
Oh yeah.
And we'd even have guests on the bus that would actually say, "Oh yeah, I remember going there as a kid. Didn't like it then.
Right.
Don't like it now."
Right.
Yep.
So
There's just a feeling when you
Yeah.
walked in. I know the first time we went in, it was
Mhm.
you, Paula, and I,
yeah,
late at night, and it was just, I can't describe it. It was just.
it has a very overwhelming feeling.
The
to
thing
it.
that got me about that place, 9 out of 10 times when I walked in there, almost every time, the first thing that would happen was I would hear kids laughing in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
They're just laughing at you.
Every damn time.
Yeah. Yeah, they were upstairs in the classrooms. They were in the
Yeah.
back of the sanctuary, up on top, just the whole top. They never went in the main area, to my knowledge. I never remember hearing them. But just everywhere else, you always hear kids giggling, running, laughing. It's just like, kids are creepy as it is when it comes to that kind of thing.
And there's no explanation to why they would be there either.
Not necessarily.
No,
but,
I mean-
There's some, yeah.
but
I mean, we
it's
could
kind
have
of-
our theories, but
Yeah.
at the same time, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, when you got doors slamming everywhere, you got growls happening, things getting drug around. The place was just, it definitely wear on your mind a little bit.
But there's nothing in the history to say that there was, that we know,
As far
For
as
sure.
No.
kids being there,
well, as far as any violence or deaths or anything. We
there's
don't
speculation
know.
on a lot of stuff. There's a
Yeah,
couple,
it's
and there's some
speculation.
stuff out in the parking lot. We'll go back there and
Yeah.
just talk about it here in
Yeah,
a few minutes.
there's something that tragic that happened in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah, we're gonna go to a break here in a couple minutes here, and when we get back, not quite yet, but when we go back, we'll get through the actual evidence part of things. We got everything from pictures to audio to video to show you tonight, and this is one of our best.
it's going
fun
to be a
cases.
fun hour.
It's gonna go by
be-
fast.
Yeah.
That's for
Yeah,
sure. A
it
lot of
is.
questions. So we have a stock plan full of things to listen to do tonight. So
Yeah, there's so much evidence to this. It's unbelievable. So
and it's not all of it. It's just some of it,
and it's about 7 years worth, probably
Right.
at least. Yeah.
at least. So
Yep.
Well, I remember when we were there and when you guys were talking about the kids, and it's like that they ran right past. I think it was you. I think it was Jason, Ben, and I.
Mhm.
Is that right? Because we were supposed to head to Dodge, and we
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
make
yeah,
it because
yeah.
of the snowstorm.
Yeah, 'cause of the ice storm
and
and
you guys
everything.
brought me in there.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah, it was just
And-
me and Ben and you.
I mean, these kids just ran past us and giggled. And then you heard them go down the steps. And we all just stopped and looked at each other. But what I thought would have been eerie was so peaceful. I don't know why. It was just like, oh my God, they're playing. Like they just went right past us. Like, excuse me, old guys. And they ran down the stairs. And to hear the giggles and the steps and it fade away. Yeah.
Well,
that's-
probably just like they did on Sunday morning when they were alive.
Yeah.
Playing at the
Yeah.
church
Yeah.
before Sunday school or whatever. I did that kind of crap.
Yep. It was amazing.
Well, we'll get to the video, all the evidence here in just a little bit.
All right, sounds good. We're going to take a little bit of a break here. Just like Leo said, and Jason, we'll get to some of the cool stuff when we get back. And you guys stay tuned.
All right, guys. Thank you for patiently waiting through the ads and stuff like that. Like I said, this is the fun part of it. This is we're gonna get hot and heavy into this thing because we got all kinds of evidence from the time before I even joined the group to up to the last time we were in there with when we met, like I said, Paula, Michelle, Enroth, and Larry and Cheryl. We'll go through everything: pictures, videos, audio. It's gonna be fun. So definitely want to put your headphones on during some of this stuff because, like I said, it's gonna be hard to hear. And we'll point it out as much as we can, what they're saying. We'll let it sit there for a few minutes and see if people can decipher what they think it is, and then we'll go over what it actually is possibly saying. So, first off, I don't know, we're going to kind of what started it all off too, like I said, it was Brennan and his group. He was part of the Wichita League of Paranormal Investigators, WLPI, before he joined ELP. And when he went through the very first investigation there with the owners, the small group, there's Brennan's logo from back in the days, good old Brendan. Actually, Brendan and Jan were part of that group, and before they joined ELP, and they left, they closed that group up to join ELP. But he was able to go in there on the smaller setting and snapped off a picture in the actual sanctuary. We have the couple of shots where the first one's going to be, it's going to be nothing's there, and the second one, something will be there. So as you can see, this is he's just snapping photos off in succession. So this is just a basic photo. Nothing's there other than the sanctuary, the way it used to look back in 2009. Yeah. It's almost 10 years ago.
If I remember correctly, this is up in the balcony.
Yes.
At the very back of the auditorium.
Yep. Looking towards the stage down in the center middle. Yep. And you have the next picture with... Now, Brennan warned me when he sent this to us a long time ago that he got so much flack for this picture, but... Yeah, the second picture in there with
that's the second picture up now.
So, if anybody sees anything, people at home, viewers at home, people in the studio here, off to the right...
You guys can't see it very well, but you guys can go up there and look at it.
Off to the right, it's right there. There's something appearing, and there's some kind of... not in this one yet, but there's a manifestation of... something, and we'll show you the next picture here in just a few seconds here. There it is.
You can it looks like Head and Shoulders, not the shampoo, but an actual person standing there, you know. But it looks like somebody standing there.
Yep, and this was way before cell phones and all that stuff. I mean, as far as Brendan, he was actually had a point and shoot camera. You can see the timestamp down below. He was taking pictures in succession, and he saw this. After going home, and I can't remember if he saw it during the moment.
I don't think he saw it during the moment. And the story to the picture is that one of the girls that's sitting there, she was complaining that something was playing with her hair.
That's right.
So she was just like, there's something playing with, there's something moving my hair. And I believe it was Jan who was sitting close by and called out and said, "Are you messing with her hair?"
That's right.
And there's a male voice that says, "It wasn't me," or something along those lines. And Brendan is just snapping photographs, and he captures that photo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's really close to where she is. Now, the story with the balcony is there's been a lot of reports up in that balcony of a male presence up there. And
I've
always
been there
seems
and
to be
seen it back and forth.
Like a shadow.
Yeah, like a shadow.
Yeah.
I know one of the first times I was in there, when we went to meet with the owners, we sat back in this, pretty much where that staircase is going down, we sat to the left over here in this area, off to the left-hand side of the picture, and I had my recorder going the whole time. When I went back home and listened, there's definitely a male up there growling at us, just like getting pissed off that we're even there. And he wasn't happy. He kept pacing back and forth to get your footsteps. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound very good when I tried to, I was going to play it tonight, but it doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, you could tell on your audio where whoever was there was not happy with us talking about doing a lot public events there.
Yeah,
because we were talking about that with the owner.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it, Janet.
Yeah.
And as we're trying to, she's like all for it. We're talking about bringing in all these people, and the voice that he picks up on his audio is just mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's trying to scare us off or whatever. Next picture's even a closer up. The entity in the circle, and like Brendan said, he told me people have tried to say, "Oh, it's something you put there. It's this, it's that." But the fact that he took multiple pictures before and after, and
I'm not even gonna zoom up a
And-
little bit more there.
And not even that, it's the story behind it,
Right.
of the moment it was happening, and when
Yep.
he took the pictures, it's just, it made, I mean, the audio from his investigation that night goes along with the photograph.
right, it fits the claims, that's for sure. As far
Yeah.
as a male presence up in there. Sorry, I was looking
I
at it.
have looked at this picture over and over and over again through the years, and I even spent, when I was setting all this up today, spent a couple of hours bouncing back to this picture, just trying to think of anything else that it might be, and there's nothing that just pops to mind
No,
about it. I mean,
it looks like something's manifesting. It has a smoky appearance to it, kind of a mist.
you can even almost make out facial features.
That's what I was
there.
thinking too. Yeah, it looks like something's looking off to our right, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the best pictures I've seen.
What do you guys think? You guys haven't seen this. This is your first
Yeah,
time
it's the
seeing
first
it.
time you guys seeing this. Yep.
You
Here,
know,
I'll make it a
with
little
all
bit bigger
the
for you guys up there.
well, and I know we could spend hours on one, and we got even more to go through. But just from being there and hearing all the stories about people coming up when you've been sitting there and they whisper in your ear and they do. Because matter of fact, the first night I was there, I think I was with Leo, and I had something messing around with my leg.
Yep.
So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that was down in the basement kitchen area.
Yep.
Or not next to the kitchen area, which is always creepy in itself too.
That was the room where they got ready, did their makeup and stuff.
There's a big room, kind of this big open room. It's every time we went in there, it was always changing. When we were there, it'd move around, kind of like the print shop that we used to go to. That every time we went in there was new.
There's something different.
Yeah, it's like holy crap.
Well, there's nothing there that, no windows or anything that it could be a reflection from,
No.
because the windows are.
Yeah, because we always had the windows covered.
They were
Yeah.
closed
We
off,
always
and
draped them off.
the windows would be behind you anyways.
Yeah, I was trying to.
So
Yeah,
And this is
there's-
coming from up above too,
Yeah.
so.
it's shooting straight down. So
Almost
I mean,
looks
I
like
don't
a wig, like an outline of hair maybe up at the top. I don't.
yeah, it's hard to say. It's
Like a big masculine haircut that a 30s, 40s, or 50s pastor might have worn.
Could
Very
be.
interesting.
I mean,
It's fascinating, that's for sure.
It's a
Yeah.
great picture.
Yep.
All right, so what do you got next?
So with that being said, next thing we have here is I'm on the wrong one. Sorry. You can play a couple of. I mean, you can just show a couple of pictures here that we have, like the sanctuary pictures. Then the that's the picture coming up. Is that this is the actual sanctuary would look like before we ever got into there early on, before they started doing the remodel. You can see some of it blocked off. Now that entity that we just shown you before was actually, if you go, you can see that where the lights are down below. It's on top of that. It's upstairs, right above that is where that entity was shot.
you can see the little
Like a
line,
balcony.
just the tops of the windows up there at the top of that picture.
Yeah. But it was on the very, very top upstairs is where that picture was facing down. This is
Yeah.
actually the main area of the sanctuary.
If I remember correctly, let me see here. Let me try something here. You guys keep talking. Let me try
Okay.
something.
Now, I know one time when this is kind of relatable, one of the very first, well, after the first time we did our first investigation there as a group, after we had our meeting with Janet, the reason we went there, she's like, you guys come in, do an investigation, see what you guys think, and then we can start doing public events there. So we went in there as a group, as the ELP, and did our thing, caught quite a bit of evidence, came back on a Saturday afternoon during the broad daylight to present the evidence to Janet and her husband, the doctor. Well, the odd thing was, I never knew that picture. I've heard the story about the picture, never knew that picture existed up to that point. Brennan just was kind of giving me, some intel behind it and all that stuff back in the days. But during the actual reveal, I happened to look up in the very top, pretty close to where that area is, but off to the left-hand side, and I seen an apparition of an older gentleman with glasses, kind of a combed-over hair, just a scowl on his face, looking right down at us. I'm like, who the hell is that? I look up and he just disappears. Like, what the hell did I just see? Years later, I found out, ironically enough, on our way to Tahlequah, Brennan brought this book that he had found of all this stuff, and found out it was the pastor, Ernest. Everything I saw, tall, thin man, white shirt, menacing look, and I'm 100% sure that's who I saw that night, because there was no older men in that building. That was also the same day as we were playing evidence. There's only your mom, Claire, and I think one other girl there.
Yeah.
Oh, Janet.
Yeah, Janet. She was actually talking with Claire and the rest of us, and my brother, my dad, and all of us were there.
Yep.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yep.
and like you said, there's only 3 women there.
And out of nowhere, we hear this female start singing some kind of humming hymnal church song. We're like, holy, crap! What is that? And everybody heard it except for, of course, poor Grant.
Dr. Grant was he was the one that had the headphones on, listening to evidence at the time, and he's always complaining that he's missing out on stuff. And here he was listening to what we had on the computer. We're all staring up at the balcony because we just heard this singing. And then he's like putting the headphones down. He's like, "Well, that was fantastic. Oh, what the hell did I miss now?"
We're all just like, looking upward. That was probably one of the most audible Class A EVPs I've ever heard in my lifetime. Unfortunately, we don't have it caught anywhere.
And we had the whole room full of us.
But we all were witnesses to it.
Yeah.
And it was plain as day as a female singing. You were going to say something, Jeremiah?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to go back to the pictures.
Yep.
Just to give them a little better orientation as to how the place is laid out. The picture that's up now, I'm going to transition to this other scene that I have set up here.
Yep. The
picture that you can see, the picture that's up now, that center column at the very back.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And how it goes all the way, it's wooden, it goes all the way from floor to ceiling there.
Right.
Now, I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Hang on. There. Okay. Maybe not. I'll get it in a minute. There we go. What the heck? Oh, really? For crying out loud. There it goes. So now, back to the picture with the apparition in it.
Right.
You see the wooden center column at the bottom of the aisle there. That's the same column, but you're seeing it from, in the first picture, the front side, and the back picture, or in the second picture, from the back side.
Right.
And of course, the second picture is from the second floor, the balcony area. So just to kind of give you a little layout as to what we're talking about there, so you can see that the windows in the place were actually behind Brendan when he took this picture.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's no glare there.
Yeah. So that was, like I said, one of the best pictures I've seen that we've ever caught, camera-wise, you know. And like I said, considering all, I mean, the type of camera it was and everything, I mean, he was pointing and shooting multiple pictures in a row, and it happened to be so.
Yeah, because he loves doing that. I remember when we were at the Candle Club, that's all he would just.
Yep. Yeah. It's just to prove that, you can, if you do capture something, you can duplicate it, saying, "Hey, it wasn't there a minute ago,"
right?
Kind of a thing. So,
yeah.
But yeah.
What next week? What do we have?
That's it. Let's go home. I'm kidding. Now we're gonna get into some of the audio. Oh, you're gonna you go ahead and show the choir loft too. Real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, we showed the sanctuary at the very bottom.
That's the choir loft, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is what the choir loft used to look like, facing those pillars. It was facing across from when Brendan would have been taking pictures down towards. It was actually above the stage. Mm-hmm. I know you guys talked about it a little bit earlier. Go ahead and tell your guys' stories about what happened up there, and I'll tell you mine here in just a minute. Go ahead.
Yours happened first.
Okay, so I was sitting up there. I was in you see the chairs there, the seating. Mm-hmm. I was in the second row back, right in about the middle of it. Okay, and I'm just sitting there. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and everyone is dead tired, about ready to break down. And start tearing down equipment and whatnot. I'm just sitting there, but we had, if you remember from the pictures a while ago, there was on the upper level the windows that went back across the balcony area, and we had been seeing shadows run through there all night long. And so I was just kind of sitting there trying not to fall asleep, but at the same time watching, to see if I saw anything back there. And I kept hearing a noise behind me. There was a bunch of tarps and whatnot on the ground back by the doorway, the back doorway that led into the choir loft. And so I was just sitting there. I kept hearing like some scraping or rustling noises back there, but honestly, I figured that was just a mouse,
Right.
Or something, rustling around in those tarps.
Yeah.
But then, all of a sudden, just right behind my right ear, I hear a female voice say, "Hello." Just a loud, whispered, breathy hello.
Right.
And it doesn't happen very often. You guys know that, but it actually scared the shit out of me.
Right.
It startled me. It startled me so bad that I actually jumped over the row of seats that was in front of me, and I landed. Let me go back to this picture. I landed in this walkway right here, to the point that if I had gone about a foot further, I would have gone right over the edge down under the pulpit about 30 feet down.
30-foot drop, easy. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And it seemed to be in another area of a hot spot, that area, the choir loft. And Jason's going to tell you his story here just right now.
All right, so real quick, my wife and I were up there for the very first time with EOP, meeting them for the very first time. That's the doorway. We're sitting in the chairs. She's sitting on my left, and nothing's happening. I'm staring across the way to the other balcony, just trying to see if I can see any movement or anything. I didn't know what to expect there too much. I'd been there only once prior myself, and it was a very small group. So I had already been in there before, and had experience, so I already knew what I wanted to look for. My wife is just she was kind of scared to death to be in there that night anyway. But out of the corner of my eye, I see someone round the corner and come through the doorway and walk up toward us. I could see them walk through that door right there and walk up to us.
Wow.
I flashed my flashlight over at that because I figured it was one of you guys coming to see how we were doing, and no one was there. So I clicked my flashlight off. I continued to sit there, and that's when she buries her face in my arm and panicked a little bit. She kept just saying, no, and it got so bad that we had to leave. And she didn't tell me when we got home, when she said, as soon as you clicked your flashlight off, I heard a male voice whisper hello.
Really?
Different from yours.
Wow.
But still the same statement. Still asking or saying hello. But she said it was a male voice, and she said what got her was that she could actually feel the breath in her ear from that, and it was just sitting there right. We were right there.
Yeah.
So what happened to you?
By the time I actually started investigating there, that place, the choir loft, had been remodeled and everything. They had the big tarp up that you talked about. That I could hear things moving in and out. That it did sound like something constantly rattling in there. I don't know why, but so the chairs were all gone. It was pretty much one level. Actually, I think if I remember right, I almost want to say the wall.
They took those doors. They boarded up, and they took that whole area and moved it backwards.
Yes.
So
it was taller. Like the ledge was taller. It wasn't like it used to be, like that real little ledge, and there was no drop off right there. But it's where I've had some of the best EVPs that we've ever caught. We'll play here in one in a little bit, but it's also where I heard the growl for the first time up there while we were there. Back in that, there's a couple of doorways not in frame, but that went behind, kind of back behind the chairs, that you could hear things walking around there. That's where I got sent one of my earlier times where Claire's like, go up there and do this and that, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm up there by myself, terrified, and just because my very first experience in there ever was during the meeting, and the very first EVP I ever caught in there was something telling us to go away. Right. We were walking up the staircase by the office of the pastor, and something. When I first heard, I heard it in real time. I thought it was something hissing at me. I was like, "Holy shit!" So I stopped and listened. And I'm like, and it freaked the crap out of me. I didn't want to move anymore. But when I go back and listen to it, I think it was just our footsteps making the hissing noise, I believe. I still don't know to this day. You can hear it go "sss" a couple of times, "sss," and then you hear something underneath it go away. Just audible as can be. I didn't hear it go away in real time at that time because I was still kind of new into the team, but then later on I listened to it. It was definitely there. I played it a few years ago, and it's there.
Yeah.
But it's also where we caught the pastor's name. It was in that choir log, which we'll play here shortly. But let's go ahead and start doing the audio here. Some of the earlier stuff was before I joined the team. It's before, I don't think Jason may not, I know you were part of it because you were on some of it, but it's when Jeremiah and Claire and Brendan and Ben, all of them were there. So the first one was in the basement here. It's I believe it's by the kitchen area, if I remember right. It's number 1. So people at home, put your earphones on or your headphones on, and we'll let you hear what we have.
Now, I will tell everyone, I have this,
The waveform?
well, I have it set so that to loop, so that if you don't hear it the first time,
good.
I'll let it play through twice before we go back to cameras to talk about it.
Okay. You have to put the monitor on, too?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Hopefully we'll be able to hear it.
Okay.
Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something annoying. Just an example there. Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something annoying. Just an example there.
Okay, I'll try.
Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something annoying. Just an example there. Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something annoying. Just an example there.
I hope they could. Should have been able to.
If anybody's online,
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
can you ask real quick and let us know?
Anyway, you guys go ahead and talk about it. I'll try to
Now,
get this.
we could kind of read on the screen. That wasn't the go away that I caught. This is before this go away happened before I even joined the team. Mine was different. Yes, people said they can hear it at home.
Okay.
Okay.
But we just can't hear it in studio for some reason. I noticed earlier the sound went out, but I thought you muted it. That's
Well,
why.
I did.
I thought you did.
I just have to remember what I did that muted it.
I got you.
'Cause
I thought you
we
were-
had that bad echo, and I was
Yeah.
trying to get rid of that.
Right. So, as you can see, it said go away, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hear it in the studio too. If not, we'll can listen to it afterwards. But for sure, that was pretty audible. It's one of the clearer one than that. But we're working on that. That happened in that kitchen area. Kind of wrote when you went the very first time with me for the public investigation. You were down there. We were sitting in those tables outside the kitchen area. That was close.
Yep.
That was in that same area. Back where
It was right around the corner from the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. Well, the kitchen's kind of angled off into it. Yeah, right next to it. That was the same kitchen where they found all the dishes that were abandoned. You know, they're like the last people known to live there or be there had just up and ran for whatever reason. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can get it going here so you guys can hear it too, because it's pretty loud. It's pretty. I mean, it's obvious what it's saying. And here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna play that again because people in the studio we didn't get a chance to listen to it. And sorry about the echo. Once Jeremiah has it up here in a second.
I don't know if that has the
actual audio.
the actual audio pulling in, but we'll try it.
Okay. So bear with us. We're gonna play it again.
Who is the current president of the United States? If they can answer, if they say something annoying. Just an example there.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next one, because we only got 30 minutes left,
Okay.
and we've only hit one audio, so
Yeah.
let's keep playing for him.
I mean, we can do one or two things. Jeremiah can unmute the TV and we can kill our mics or whatever's easiest for you.
Yeah,
Just let
we
it
can
play.
do that.
I mean, if you guys want to hear it, I mean, stuff like that, or we can just whatever you want to do.
I just want to soldier on. I don't care
Yeah.
what we do. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah, I'd like to hear it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's whatever we can do. So, but one thing we'll play here the next one in just a second here. One thing that always happened there, even during investigations when we had just some of us there and some of them during the public investigations, there was always a lot of areas where we would hear a lot of noises that we could never explain. A lot of them were door closings being slammed that we could never figure out where in the damn building they would happen, because you could be on the same floor and you'd run down to an area and it wouldn't, everything looked pretty normal. It'd be either open or just things were weird to begin with. So next one we'll play here in just a second when Jeremiah's ready. We'll do the doors shutting one. I think he's looking at something real quick here. But, okay, so he's gonna play the next one here in just a second.
Ready?
Yep. Fire away.
Did you hear that? It came from down the hallway. Did you hear that? It came from down the hallway. Did you hear
Fire
that?
again, I can't tell.
You guys go ahead and discuss them.
okay.
So, I think people at home are listening too. They probably heard the door slam.
Okay.
What? What are you pointing at for?
I was just gonna.
No, Roth was. He
Can
was
you
saying something.
hook this up to where we go into the
Alright.
phones
Yeah, I
if
could.
you
Yeah.
guys want to?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to be able to keep going for the guests,
Yeah,
for
what
the
I can-
visitor. You know.
What we
Yeah, I
can
can
do
hear
is
it just fine.
when we play it through there, I can play it through mine next time. That way you can hear it through here.
Yep.
That way we definitely can hear it in studio. In the meantime, so just real quick, we'll play. I'll let you guys hear it real fast before we move on. Sorry, guys. So this is the first one. We'll kind of go back real fast, and then we'll discuss what you guys think. Hopefully it'll play. Oh, dang it. Just a second, guys, sorry. Internet goes, sorry. We have too much I have too much things open, I apologize. But like I said, this place never let us down as far as the quality of evidence. Hang on here. So that was the go away. If you guys heard or not. I'll put the next one real quick here. Sorry guys at home, we're just trying to catch up real fast. Apologize for any inconvenience that we're having trouble in the studio here. The next one we're gonna play here. That's the door slamming, so that's pretty obvious. So the third one we have here, when Jeremiah's ready, this is one when Jeremiah, I'm not sure exactly where he is in the building as far as what's going on, but it's you talking to somebody. Maybe you can remember when you listened to it.
I think it was in one of the classrooms.
Was it? Okay. You obviously heard this, whatever this entity talked to you, and you said you could hear it, but you just didn't understand what it said. But
Right.
later on, in evidence review, we can definitely tell what it said here. So you can go and play for people at home, listen to it here in studio.
Listen to this and see what you think. Okay, I heard that, but just barely. Okay, I heard that, but just barely.
See, that's just plain as day when somebody's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
You played it at home already,
What'd you think?
Jeremiah?
What's that?
You played it
Yeah,
for people at
usually
home
they
already?
don't come
Yeah,
through
okay.
that.
Yeah, I went through twice.
Okay. So that was definitely something, male voice saying, what do you expect me to say? That was pretty obvious. Talking to Jeremiah, and you could hear it in real time. So this one is, I believe, this is an earlier episode. I don't know if you were there or not, Jason, for this part, but I know it was down in the back when you used to get in the old office downstairs, right next to the kitchen, almost off to the side.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is the obvious. It is what it is. It's a file cabinet being slammed. Oh, it's you.
Where are you planning on going
Jason,
right
Cole,
now?
and
Anyway?
Claire.
That's the plumbing.
So the initial part's plumbing.
Because it sounds just like that on the third floor.
Oh, is that what you can hear in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Now that
So-
isn't.
The first part, you
I
hear
was
the
there.
you hear the expanding
Were
of
you
the,
in the
of the
closet?
plumbing, making that boom boom noise. But then
Where are you planning on
the
going
second
right
part
now?
is
Anyway?
when the actual file cabinet is slammed shut. Jason, you
That's
said
the
you were. I know you were there.
Yeah, I was right there in the room. I remember that whole night. It was
Because it sounds just like that
it
on
was
the third
that's
floor.
the same room where the
Oh, is that
scream, the
what
famous
you can hear in
scream
the
from the
hallway?
place happened.
Gotcha.
And things
Now
were
that
happening.
isn't.
within they're listening to that.
Are you in the
Go
closet?
ahead, keep talking.
Okay. Well, it was a public event. That was actually a friend of mine who was actually in the room too, along with Claire and Nicole and myself.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember who was all there.
Yeah, and there's a closet right there, and inside there was a file cabinet, and that the drawer just slammed shut while we were just sitting there.
In all the years that I got to go investigate, I was only able to go in there one time ever.
Seriously?
Yeah, because it was always locked off because closed up, locked up because of the
The theater.
The theater people used it, and so but it was during one public investigation we were fortunate to go in there, and so I've only seen it once, and by the time I think it had changed a little bit. This this next one is Jason's famous. Jason's in here.
Same night, actually.
Yeah, I figured it was. This one's pretty self-explanatory. We have a device called a cell sensor that detects motion. So it detects EMF, the electromagnetic field. So if something gets closer to it, energy-wise, it starts to beep slowly, faster. So this one you guys had an interaction with, we believe was Ernest.
Trying to call him out. I was trying to say that I knew what was going on. Do you want me to go up towards your office? Can you come a little closer if you're here? That kind of stuff. And I was getting actual answers with the cell sensor.
Yeah.
I'll play it for them right quick.
Okay. I'll play ours.
I know the history of this place. I've heard the bad things.
Go closer to him. Now even closer. Come on.
I think that's her.
If that's the woman, step back. Make it stop. If you're earnest, make it go crazy. There you go. You got
Back
your
up to 3.
answer.
Why don't you come over here and mess with me? Chicken. Sorry. In a church. Chair.
They talked to
done.
this. Are you still playing it? I think.
Yeah. Bless you.
Excuse me.
I know.
As you talk to this thing, there's when it was called specifically Ernest Reed, it picked up in speed. I mean, like this thing was getting closer. Who was the person that dropped the infamous?
Oh, that's my
Your friend?
my friend Jeff.
Oh, it was Jeff.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
Jeff.
That piece has always made me laugh. I've heard the unedited version, of course, too. But that's the version that's on our website. So
Yeah.
So that was also in that same. Was it in that the same office area with the file cabinet, or is that somewhere? Okay.
That the file cabinet happened actually just prior to this happening,
Okay.
because we were starting to get some activity in the room and down the hall. So we started to mess with the cell sensor and try to get some answers, because the cell sensor was actually starting to beep a little bit.
Right.
That says something was happening. So I picked it up. I'm just holding it still. I'm not moving, and Claire's doing all that questioning, and it just started kicking off. So.
I've only seen the cell sensor work. Besides that time, I wasn't there for that part, but 2 other cases where we've had confirmation of something leaving in Hayesville, and then we had it out at Granola, where down the hallway nobody's walking, and we hear the cell sensor go off. We hear something talking to us, but to the owners who are sitting on the opposite end of the house, they hear it growling at them. We were by ourselves. The investigators were on one side of the building of this home, and that homeowners were on the opposite end, and they were getting growled at because we were there, I think. They didn't like us being there. And we heard it as something talking to us. It was the weirdest thing ever, but the cell sensor went off.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it works sometimes it's just, it can also pick up, things such as microwaves, old ovens and stuff like that, but we always test for that in a room most of the time, so we know it's credible as far as this, in this case, something moving close to it because it was stationary. And we think it was earnest, possibly.
Right.
So, all right. The next one thing we have here, that one, I always like that piece just because of the interaction you had. This one
especially with the guy that's in the room with you guys that says what he says.
Right. This next one here, I don't know 100% where it was at. It's the same time, I think, about that time. But it's a couple of voices. They're asking people. We always go into rooms and during investigations and say, "Okay, who's here with us? We want to talk to you," kind of a thing. And I believe it's Claire talking. Claire or Jan, I can't remember which one it is, asking this question, and something's making itself known that, hey, I'm here.
Just going crazy when I came walking out here. Who's all with us? Good enough.
So that one was a little bit harder to hear, but you could hear Jan ask the question, who's all with us? And it sounds female, like kind of a younger female to me. When I've heard it, it says, "I'm here." And then, "Hey, like pay attention to me," kind of a thing. You ask who's here, it's me, I'm here. So that one I thought it was always interesting. I never knew about it until years later after going through some of the evidence. I'm like, oh man, I never heard this one before. And I actually forgot a bunch of recently.
It's amazing from having the little kids to the older male voices. Then you have what that voice right there sounds like not an older woman, but to me it's a younger girl. But you got to remember that school was attached to it.
Well, a couple things. You had so many years of churchgoers going through there, all the people that attended the churches over the years. So it could have been one of them.
Yeah.
It could be a former worker. It could have been a child that went to school there. I mean, it could have been anybody.
Does it have anything to do when we find out later what happened in the parking lot?
I doubt it.
It's hard to say. Okay. There's no confirmation as far as that goes. We can tell that right now. Do you want to go ahead and tell that story since
I'm not sure the year of it, but there was a death in the parking lot. It was I believe it was the choir teacher's son who was out with some friends out in the parking lot, and they were shooting off fireworks or doing something that had to do with fire, and didn't realize that there was the liquid that was right there would happen to be gasoline spilt on the ground. He died of burns. He was caught on fire and died of his injuries. So, I mean, you have that little tragic moment that happened out there. So
yeah, and see, one of the reports when I first started going there, I heard was as people were moving out west to go, for the gold rush or whatever it was, and they first came there through wagon, that somebody on the trail died in that area. That's the story I heard initially.
Yeah,
that was one of the rumors, and that was part of To me, that was probably one of the issues with the forum itself. There were so many stories floating around from to sexual abuse to whatever to this in this church, and it's just like the problem is there's nothing confirmed on any of these claims other than the fact that what we've caught and some of the stories that we know are true.
Yeah.
From
So is there any records or anything where Ernest got in trouble for doing?
No.
No.
Why is that? Is it because of the church back in the day?
We don't know
Let's just be
if
quiet?
any of the.
Nobody knows.
There's not even any proof that there's anything bad that was going on.
Right. It's been all hearsay.
It's all hearsay from a medium that came in and said it.
Yeah.
Do you know the medium?
I do. Well, I met her twice. I've worked with her. I feel like she is legit, but at the same time,
So what
she
was her
never
story
gave
on
any
it?
answers. She never gave a name. She never said anything. She just felt that there was something bad happening with the children inside. Never gave details, and she never gave a name. That's another reason why I thought, okay, we cannot be spreading any rumors about names, situations, or anything, because we don't know.
Right.
Okay.
So,
See, I never knew. I knew there was some stories,
Yeah.
but I never knew.
It's just all hearsay.
and for her to say that, she's like, I see bad things happening to the children, but she didn't give any details, and she never gave a name of who was doing it. But she always said upstairs there's a pretty angry gentleman who doesn't want us up there.
So I won't mention a name, but somebody that used to be on the, more active on the team. Anything from that individual that's been there?
Not so much.
Not so much on that, but at that point, it's hard for me to take anybody's word on that because we had told so many stories over the years on
Okay.
tours and
Yeah.
just talking that there was a couple of things that were picked up on that probably weren't disclosed the first time I met this person. There's no way she could have known because when I took her there, I didn't tell her where I was going. I said, just follow me. So she couldn't have done the research. She didn't know it was my very first meeting with this person, and she could pick up on, she goes, was there a fire here? Which she should never known because she's not even from this area.
Shoot, I didn't even know about the fire until
Yeah.
later on. You know,
Outside or in? Or
the sanctuary
No,
fire.
sanctuary?
The fire happened on the inside. She just touched the buildings. She asked me if there was a fire here. I'm like, I'm not going to
Interesting.
say anything. Just tell her how she feel. I didn't give her any kind of information.
So
Nothing.
any of the mediums ever talk about like a portal or anything? Because there's
No.
so
No.
many different
No.
things going on.
I never heard
No.
anything. I don't.
I mean, have
know
you guys
about
ever been
portals.
anywhere? You've been doing this forever. So have you? That it's that much activity and different all the time.
Yes and no. I mean,
It's everything's so strong because usually when you go, you can barely hear the voices. You can't hardly make them out. Everything is so clear and so loud, and that and the kids are happy, bustling, running around, and
Yeah,
You know,
that's
there-
an
it's
amazing
not-
place.
most of our investigations, did you hear that? Can you hear? But
right.
this, it's right there. There's no guessing or.
Audio. Oh, we just lost audio too. It sounds like.
That's what I'm checking into.
Okay.
They said it's back now.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we ready to go for our
Yep.
next one?
Next one is pretty obvious. It's it's when I was part of the team at this point, and Jason was part for sure. It's just a noise that not us.
We're back now.
So where did that happen at? Is
Sanctuary.
Okay, Sanctuary, is that the stage?
That's the main area with all the seats, and that's when last time we were there it happened. That's Brendan talking, by the way. Yeah.
That same
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that sound like that?
From audio, it sounds, different from some of the things I've heard in person.
I meant that night I was with you and Ben, and that thing about it made me go about 3 foot in the air.
Yeah, that's about it. That's about right.
Because see, we were there.
But then we started hearing a thumping after that, which we ended up figuring that out, which was something.
Because we were hanging.
Building,
yeah.
Right? That's the hatch, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
We were sitting right by the stage.
Yeah, we were up by the stage, and
I was filling some paperwork out, and I mean, it was like right next to me. Somebody took like a 10-foot 2x4 and just slammed it right next to me.
I believe it's when we first got there. One of the first ones all of us got to do it before the public investigation. It was you, Brendan, myself, Ben, Claire, Renee, Jan. And I don't think Jeremiah was there that time, at that point. But we were just setting up basically, and we were getting ready to go dark, and Brendan's just out there kind of, getting a feel for the room. And he's just talking, and all of a sudden that thing just bang out of nowhere. And who knows where it was in the building, but it was in the sanctuary, somewhere in that main area. But not.
That sounded just like,
not easy
when
to
I was
decipher.
there on the stage.
Yeah, one of the last times we were there, we got that same bang that it was Ben, myself, Jason, that we actually took off running after this thing because we didn't know where in the building it could have been, that we chased it down, and I know that we didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I mean, it's there, it's active. This next piece right here we'll play is from Ernest's office. We were sitting there with Jan, myself, and Claire, and there's noises going on, so you'll hear it.
Excuse me. What was that?
No clue.
Excuse me. What was that?
No clue.
Excuse me.
We're back.
That sliding noise that before Claire goes, what was that? That was louder than that audio ever could pick up. I mean, it was outside the doors. You could hear it, and it was enough that we called down to where Brendan at the time was sitting by the DVR back in that little hallway down clear across the sanctuary. We had a radio down to him, asking if that was him. Claire yells as she's asking Brendan, "Is that you, Brendan?" And he doesn't hear us. So we finally had to get on the walkie-talkies and say, "Hey, was anybody in the sanctuary moving?" And Brendan's like, "No, I'm not even nowhere near that." So, and nobody was close to us. You guys were in the basement, I believe. So it was some kind of loud dragging sound and noise that we can never figure out what the hell it was. But this is shortly after that happens. We're in the Ernest office still, and there's glass in there. You'll hear. Oh, sorry. What the hell was that?
What was that?
I have no idea.
Something hit the glass or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
What was that?
I have no idea.
Something hit the glass or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
Let's do some of the voices.
We're back.
Okay. So that is, like I said, Ernest's office. We're all sitting there, three of us sitting there, and he has stained glass windows, one stained glass window in there, and clearly something tapped on that glass. He never liked us being in there at all the years we did it. So with that being said, the man himself is in the choir loft. It's just Ben and I talking to the air basically from up above, and there's nobody in there except for us two, and we get his name.
So crazy.
Could you tell me if you're here with us, what your name is? What was that? You heard that answer, didn't you? I didn't hear the answer. I'm here. I'm still feeling it. Somebody said no. Static. To your question. Could you tell me if you're here with us, what your name is? What was that? You heard that answer, didn't you? I didn't hear the answer. I'm here. I'm still feeling it. Somebody said no. Static. To your question. Could one of
Wow.
And we're back.
Okay. So that was Ben and myself standing up in the choir loft, looking out towards the sanctuary, asking if you could, if anybody's here with us, just talk to us. Tell us who you are, basically, what your name is, and well, we can find out later. I heard it in real time. I could hear him talking, but I didn't know. I thought he said no. I won't tell you my name, but obviously he told us it was Ernest Reed.
Yeah, you could hear it.
The craziest thing I've ever heard. I mean, right next to his office almost, and sure enough, he's talking to us. So go to 12, actually. Sorry, Jeremiah.
Go to 12.
We'll skip a couple because we're running out of time. Next one is the infamous scream that we caught that nobody can explain what it was.
Well, what's the timestamp on this one? Because if you're not listening closely on this clip, you can miss it.
It's a very short clip, about 1 second and 2 seconds between there, right away in there.
Okay.
So
listen very closely, right at towards the beginning of the clip.
Okay.
That.
The scream is in there. It's very. The reason it sounds kind of mechanical behind it is because I had it raise the level so high because it's very quiet otherwise. But the scream is in there. It's a female scream that. There was a story behind that supposedly one of the former. I don't know what she was. Was it the organist or something? Or she was a part of the choir?
Yeah.
Her name was
just
Belle.
one of the staff. Yeah.
They thought her name was Belle. That supposedly she may have got pushed down the stairs. That's another one of the unconfirmed stories that's been passed down for a while.
And it's the stairs that leads from the balcony of the choir loft to the stage itself, right onto the stage.
Which is not too far from the pastor's office, and the fact that we even caught a scream was kind of
Aren't those stairs real narrow and
They are.
steep?
They kind of go around and they come up.
Yeah,
they start one way, and like these stairs right here, they come away and they come back the opposite way. So
But
they're
they're
somewhat
real
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those stairs always gave me the creeps also too. Because one of the time we did our first public investigation in there, we were sleeping on the stage, and everybody else is pretty much passed out. I'm a light sleeper, and you can hear people come up and down the stairs nonstop all night, and there's nobody there other than us on stage. So it was enough that I got up and said, "Screw this! I'm not going to sleep anyways. I'm going to go watch the DVR," and that's one of the first time we ever met good old Larry. So let's see what we can go real quick here. I'm trying to see what's the best ones to play. Go to number 15, if you will.
Okay.
Okay.
You gonna tell me to leave again? Come on. You gonna tell me to leave again? Come on. You gonna tell me to leave again? Come on.
That was done.
You gonna tell me to leave again?
Okay. That one I was
The hell was that?
I was on one of the public investigations, so I'm up in Ernest's office with a group of people just saying, hey, 'cause I knew that in the past he hated me being there. He didn't like any of us being there, pretty much. So I'm like, well, you gonna tell me to leave again like you did last time? And you can hear something clear as day say, yes, like drawn out.
It sounds like a ghoul or something,
Right.
you know? It's
And
just,
to me, I always felt that was Ernest, saying, yes, I'm gonna take you out of my office, because he absolutely hated anybody. I mean, he locked the doctor in there, the first time they bought the place, and he did not like us in there for whatever reason. This was in the basement. Go to the next one, just in order. This is by the music room.
16?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. What are you laughing at?
I always play this one.
I like the respect, man. He always says, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't get used to it, you son of a bitch. Kidding, of course. All right.
Has anybody been down here in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else? Has anybody been in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else? Has anybody been down here in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else? Has anybody been down here in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else? Has anybody been down here in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else?
We'll go ahead and go back.
Has anybody been down here in the basement yet?
I have.
Okay. Nobody else?
There we go. Gotta get the right
Okay.
scene up there.
We back.
Yes, we're back.
We're gonna say. Did you already say something? Sorry.
I always play this one on the bus tour, just because it's so loud. It's so everybody can hear what it's saying, but it's just funny that it says what it says right after you speak.
Yeah.
It always makes me laugh.
What it is, it's Renee and I talking, and we're once again, it's public investigation. These last ones are public investigation time, and we're asking, has anybody else been down here yet in the basement? Because, you know, and all of a sudden you hear something just say, plain as day, the Queen. Don't know who the hell the Queen is, why she was down there, but apparently
What?
they let us know.
Queen Elizabeth, Queen Latifah, what?
I don't know. It's a male voice. It's definitely not me. Yeah, I might like
It's
that.
talking about him.
Whatever.
You hear him speak.
Well, yeah.
You hear him speak, and then it says the Queen.
You say that, RuPaul comes to mind.
Yeah, no.
Too bad Max isn't here.
But
Yeah,
no,
something
it always,
like that.
but it always shocks everybody on the bus when they hear that. They're like,
Right.
"Why is that saying that?" I was
And we
like, I
played
have
it
no idea.
during some of our talks with the the PowerPoint,
Yeah.
and people were like, "That says the Queen." You know, they can hear right away.
Yes.
It's very obvious what's saying. These last three is some that nobody's ever heard ever. I actually just cut them up tonight or yesterday, excuse me. What I'll say is it's the very last time that we were ever in there, ever. It's when our last public investigation. It's where I met Roth. Kept calling him Roth all night, which I don't know why. At the time I couldn't get Roth out of my mouth, but apparently. But it's also the last time on a public investigation, we had one. Last time we had one of our fallen brothers, good old Larry. He was with us that night, and we had to hear his voice a couple last times on these recordings. But this is, you were up there with me too. It's when you and somebody in the past. You were leading part of the group. I had the other half. Roth and I, or as Larry and I took the other half. You guys were walking around the classrooms. Set this up. We kept seeing this small shadow. You know, if you remember this, Roth. And I remember your wife Connie, with time, was like, didn't believe in any of this stuff. You know, she's like, I need credible evidence. And you and I are sitting there watching this shadow dart back and forth from room to room inside this one big room.
Yep.
With the costumes and everything up there, and it's part of the classrooms. Well, you're like, I got to get Connie over here. She needs to see this. And she comes over here and she sees a couple things, and then by the time you guys all join us, she goes, because it was 1,000,000 degrees in there. It's always hot up there. He's like, can you mind if we come in here? I said, sure, come on in. It's even hotter over here, making jokes. And I was trying to tell you guys about this whole adventure. So these last three clips, the very last one is going to be the one where you guys join us. The first two is going to be up to this point. So there's something in there, and you can hear it talking to us.
17?
So
18?
Start with numbers 18.
Okay.
So I'll play ours.
There might be more in there. Hear that voice? There might be more in there. Hear that voice? There might be more in there. Hear that voice?
Actually hear it, and nobody else could hear it.
Okay.
So that one was kind of hard to hear, but it was me talking, and you hear me say, "Did you hear that voice?" Right after, there was a couple of the small. It's a female voice that was real low. So the next one, it gets louder and even better. So this is Larry talking initially.
We don't want you to hide from us. We want you to come out and play. We don't want you to hide from us. We want you to come out and play. We don't want want you to hide from us. We want you to come out and play.
So Larry's saying, because Roth and I are sitting there talking about this shadow that started back and forth, and I'm like, I was telling Larry, go take your. He had a full spectrum camera. He was taking pictures. I go aim over there, and he's just taking picture after picture. He never caught anything on the picture, but he's like talking out loud as he's doing this. He's like, we don't want you to hide from us. We want you to come play with us. And a female voice that we thought was female, the shadow, says, "Who, me?" Kind of like.
It was a child, definitely a child.
It was a child because the shadow was short too. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's definitely a female shadow voice. That, like I said, at this point, Jeremiah and his group come join us, and we're all just sitting sprawled out. Your brother and his family was with us, and they witnessed all of this too. So I'm so animated about what we saw. We're excited, because that's the best I've seen up in that area, the shadow, other than the door, slamming and shut.
Yeah, because didn't it ended up going back into that room where the clothes were.
Yep.
And then stayed in that corner.
Yeah. So I'm trying to explain to everybody, okay, guys, now that you're all sitting here, you guys just missed the best thing I've ever seen. Roth saw it. And I go, I'll go show you what I saw. And I start to walk up to this area, and apparently she was still in there because she comes running out and talks to us twice, and everybody in the room heard it. And everybody's like, what the hell? Everybody freaks out with excitement. So this is the last clip right here, number 20. Like whatever we saw, I'll point it out to you guys so y'all can see. In this corner right here, there's nothing there. You can see the clothing. It's not moving. So whatever we were seeing.
Did you hear that?
Whoa.
That was interesting.
What the hell was that?
What was that?
Holy crap, dude. Like whatever we saw, I'll point it out to you guys so y'all can see. In this corner right here, there's nothing there. You can see the clothing. It's not moving. So whatever we were seeing.
Did you hear that?
Whoa.
That was interesting.
What the hell was that?
What was that?
Holy crap, dude. Like whatever we saw.
That's cool.
So what was that second
Well, the first one,
sound? I hear the
you hear the
female,
little girl.
yeah.
Like I actually see this thing run out. It's a shadow. I see this thing run out. I go, oh, I jump back because I feel like I'm gonna step on somebody. I'm like, whoa, oh, and I step back. The second thing, you actually hear her like kind of make a noise and like dart out the room, and you can hear that footstep. I'm the only person at the time standing up. Everybody else is sitting down.
Yeah, because everybody else was.
They were just all
behind you.
glued
Yeah,
to this
just-
thing. Yeah, watching as I explained where this shadow was, and the female was still in that room. Apparently, the little child female that's been talking to us the last few clips. And when I first heard it a long time ago, I thought she said, "Oh, sorry," and like ran out. But I could never make out what she said here on this video clip or this audio clip. But she was definitely there, and everybody in that room heard this with their own ears. It was loud enough to where it was audible, and obviously you hear everybody reacting twice to it, like,
Right.
"Oh shit," because what is that? It was a female ghost that we saw up there that I never knew existed through until that night, and it was like the very last time we were in there. I was so excited that night to even capture this that I was gonna believe what we were hearing.
Well, and I heard you guys had other times people had been in that big area and they played the knock knock.
Right, we did that night too.
Yeah.
I did. And
Yeah.
We always got really good results with that there.
Mhm.
That was our friend Will Baser that came up with that game. Remember Will?
Oh yeah, Cowboy Will, yeah. But
we have the one video clip that's
Oh, yeah,
kind of interesting.
this one,
I can go ahead and play because
Might
it
as well.
doesn't have any sound with it,
No.
so I can just leave the mics active and you
Yeah.
can comment on it as we go.
Yeah, go ahead and play it. It's kind of hard because the video quality back then wasn't as great. But what it is? You're looking at that same area from the stage. Top, you can see where that picture would have been. We have a laser grid shooting off there from the stage, and whatever something on the stage moves it. Just decides to go on its own and start to take a tumble to the right. Eventually, here, it's a
Yeah.
pretty short clip.
You can see the dots from the laser grid on that back wall there.
Yep, it just rolls over. It's kind of hard to see from
There it
here.
went.
And it ends up pointing off to the right hand
Yeah.
side. Yeah, it was during the public investigation, and once again, and they were, I don't know where they were in the building at the time, but they came out and started radioing like, ooh, is somebody on the stage? They started to question everybody. Was somebody on stage a minute ago? Well, like nobody's on the stage. It was
Right.
Claire, and she was in that group, and I was upstairs in the classroom at the time, or downstairs, can't remember which one it was. And something on stage physically kicked over the laser grid that was stationary. So, I mean, the place.
Physical manipulation.
Yeah, the place, like I said, never let us down anytime we were in there. I wish we would have had more time tonight. We had more clips to play, but it's just we ran out of time. That's just a short little glimpse into what we expect to experience. Like you said, almost 7 years. You said, is that what you said?
About 7 years. We're
Of going in and out of there, and every time we went in there, there was always something that happens, no matter what we experienced. I mean, you could go in there for 5 minutes and you see a shadow run.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah, we
never.
did.
Children laughing.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
That was the first time I actually ever saw, I think you were with me, it was when something looked out that classroom
Yep.
door.
Yep.
You know, when the schoolroom doors have the windows so
Yep.
you can see in. It was actually open
They're always
because we were in the
open, yeah.
classrooms and something had stuck its head out and looked right at us coming down the hallway and then moved back, and yeah, it was.
I tell you, even over and above my experience in the choir loft there, I think my most surreal experience of the whole time that we ever went in there was in that we called it the ping pong room, or
Right.
was it the nursery?
Oh, right.
The way back
Ping
where
pong.
the
Ping pong.
closet was with the
Yeah.
ladder that
Yep.
went up to the hatch,
Yep.
Yeah.
the roof access hatch.
Right.
So anyway, it was me and my ex-wife and one of the old founding members named Cody, I think,
Yeah.
was in there. And we just we walked in there, and we had it marked in tape on the floor, that door with the closet where the
hatch.
roof access
Right.
was. So we had it, where it was open to, marked in tape on the floor. And it does a lot like what happened at Max's house the other night when he turned, and I just happened to turn and look and see the door about to knock him from behind because it was swinging closed.
Right.
Well, we're all in there, and I hear a weird and odd noise. Now, if you remember that room really well,
Yep.
that should strike you as odd to start with. I hear an odd noise, and I look over, and it's that door swinging shut.
Mhm.
That's a heavy door.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a fire door.
Right.
That door
Right.
probably weighs 150 pounds. And it's just...
Right.
Now, what's even more odd about that, normally that door didn't make a sound when the
yeah.
hinges were quiet.
Right. Yep.
That took me by surprise when I went, because it swung all the way shut and latched. I went back over there and I opened it back up, not a sound. Closed it again, not a sound.
Yep.
When me and my ex-wife and Cody all stood there and watched it swing shut, it was it was wild.
same door, same room.
Yep.
I was, ever since you said, keep an eye on that, I tried to keep an eye on every time I went up there, and was starting to hear like the sound of like the door moving on its own, and it's shut, but it sounds like someone on the other side pushing on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I, made sure, is there air movement? Yeah, there's a hatch up there to the roof, but it's sealed. There's nothing, it's locked. It's closed. It's there's no air movement whatsoever. So public event. I've been telling Paula and Michelle all about this. This door makes noise. It makes all this noise, but there's a hatch there. But I swear to you, there's no air movement. There's none whatsoever. So we get done with our first rotation of that night. I radio to Claire, smoker, and I get over. I radio to Claire, and I ask her. I said, "So everything's good with that door? The hatch is good. There's no airflow." And she goes, "Everything's good." We get up there within 5 minutes, and I'm telling Paula and Michelle about got to keep an eye on this door, okay? And I opened the door and I said, and if you can, as you can see, there's a hatch. And as I'm saying hatch,
There's stars.
I see stars. Because somehow the hatch from Claire's group, within 5 minutes of rotation, 5-10 minutes, that hatch is gone. And we didn't, I was like, no way. So I called down for Ben. Ben's with me actually.
Yeah. It was Ben.
Ben climbs the ladder up there with me. We find the hatch like 15 feet away. As not like just lifted off. It's been popped off and moved over.
Wow.
And like it just blown off.
I think I remember hearing that on the radio.
Yeah. And I went over there thinking, okay, it's just probably this little light thing, and it's just no, I couldn't even lift it on my own. Ben and I are dragging this thing as heavy as I could.
Right.
And it took us forever to even get the hatch on to the back on.
Wow.
And it just moved like that.
That's crazy.
But I even had more moments with that room.
That was also the same room where they reportedly heard the singing that Jesus loves his little children, whatever, by a female.
Jesus loves me.
Jesus loves me. That's what it is. Yeah, loves me, and by a female. And I think I remember about that room, other than the ping pong, and then they had all those chairs just stacked up against that back wall. You can see shadows moving in that room too. Where I've chased it as much as I could, but then also, if you go behind, there's that additional room by that door. There's an additional room that goes kind of circles back behind. You were asking about a portal or something. For some reason, I could follow. I'd step out and I with the EMF detector, and I'd pop right in. This thing would just skyrocket, and I can't explain it. It just went in a circle. This whole EMF around this, between these walls, and I don't know. I could never debunk what it was. I think it was electricity right there. It was just a couple like small closet rooms that, whatever reason, had high spikes of EMF and had some activity there. As you can see, this hatch and the door, itself.
Yeah, because I remember that night when we were there, I could hear him talking about it on the radio.
Yeah, I think we were in the basement at the time. You and I were.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, they're talking about a hatch.
And one more story to go with that door is I took a buddy of mine in there one night. It was just him and I. It was Josh. It wasn't Jay. Jay's the very last. I took him in there my very, very last time, but I took my buddy Josh in there one night because I had the key and I could go.
Right.
And I just constantly was doing that. And he was a skeptic, about it all, but he's like, we're buddies, I'll go along with it, We get up there to that room, and of course he was hearing things all night long that he couldn't explain away. We get up to that room, and that door, you hear the knocking from the other side of the door. And he's like, so he starts asking questions. It starts knocking according to his question. 2 knocks, 1 knock, And then finally he just goes over there and he goes, screw this. And he puts his whole weight into it, because it was rattling. It wasn't just a knock, it was rattling the door.
Yeah.
So he puts his whole weight into it, and he goes, if you're there, move it again. And you hear the door go, boom, boom. And he's like, I'm done. That's enough for me. I get it. And for, to see somebody go flip from, okay. Because he was about a little over 200 pounds, putting all his weight into it. And the door still jolted him. So I thought, okay, awesome. We're not crazy, because that happened. So.
Yeah, that place, like I said, was one of my favorite places to investigate. Like, every time somebody outside of the group would ask me, where can we go, investigate, or where, what's a good spot anywhere? I'm like, the most haunted place in Wichita has got to be the Forum Theater. And just start telling them all the stories and all the experiences we had there over the years. And like I said, within 5 minutes, if you didn't have anything, it's because you weren't either looking right or you didn't know how to look, because it was
I think my
impressive.
problem was, that's when I first got interested in it. And I hear something, but I would say, no, that's me. That's probably nothing. But I didn't know how to listen back then. And it's something you have to learn.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely, it's a skill like any other.
It is.
Definitely. Well, sorry about all the mishaps tonight. We're trying to do different things with the podcast, and we're looking at different angles and stuff. So we'll get this worked out for us.
Well, it was more of a problem for us than it was for the viewership. We just couldn't hear the I don't know what I did wrong with that. Something messed up somewhere.
all
I
good.
hit the wrong button somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, they
Okay.
can still hear it.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, that's all matters.
Yeah, because I was plugged in
Right.
live, so it was fine.
Yep. So, want to talk about upcoming week?
Next weekend, we will be talking about another case of ours. Jeez, we have so many to
We
pick
haven't really
from.
decided yet.
Yeah, why don't we talk about, we can talk about Dodge.
You can do that.
Since we're going to be there next weekend doing an investigation 2 nights in a row. First night's just the team, so try to get these guys a little bit more acquainted doing the building alone, and then we just talk about that.
Okay.
Because that actually, from the forum to Dodge, is kind of where we still continue to
Right.
grow as a team back.
Right.
How many years? Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yep. And like,
Might even. I mean, I'm sure we will get to do some live streaming
Yeah.
from up there.
Yes.
But we might even get to do some like actual talks in front of the camera with this setup. But
Right.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
We'll figure all that out. But yeah, there's gonna well we're spending all weekend there.
Yep.
We're gonna have lots of time to play with it and have fun.
Yeah,
so.
we'll definitely be going live that night.
Yep.
So we'll have
Couple
the
times.
investigation on. So
Yep.
it'll be fun. Sold out public event on
First of
Saturday. Yeah, first of 2,
So,
with more to come.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Definitely. So, and that's another place that's pretty active once you get.
We'll have to make sure that we
there.
bring a lot of extension cords because I want to make sure that the batteries, in case they go
Right.
dead, because we
Right.
experienced that at that house
Yeah.
where
Right.
we were there 20 minutes and we lost
Yeah.
the live.
let's
Yeah.
cut the show for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So, yep, join us this upcoming weekend. We'll be in Dodge, like I said, and we'll be back Sunday night at the same time, 7 o'clock.
Good night.
See ya.
Have a good night.
Yeah, I need to remember to bring